Hi, someone named number 11 requested for me to do a video about my very first astral experience. And this is I guess the video I had where I was wearing the blue shirt and I was talking about when I was in that consistent routine of meditating, getting up at 5, and having that strict routine. I finally had my first one when I was in that, doing that every day. And I remember it was at nighttime, and I meditated all day basically, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to lay down. And right when I laid down and I was completely awake, this was no fucking dream. I know when I'm awake. I know when I was asleep because I always wake up. You're always awake when you're astral projecting. And my eyes. Oh, this is a long time ago. I'm trying to remember exactly. I was laying down. And all this, and I wasn't aware of what to feel for your astral body, what the feeling of your astral body is. So I was just laying down on my back, and all of a sudden my left arm up to my hand, my left arm hand up to my elbow, and went completely numb and tingly. And I was wondering why, and because I wasn't aware that that was your astral body. This was my very first one. And I looked over, and I looked over at my arm, and I could see my physical arm still laying flat on like the bed, but I was also seeing my astral arm like that, and I was still seeing my physical arm like that, and it was on the left side. And then right away I felt the left side of my head, and the left side of my head and my left side of my body and the whole left side of my arm getting sucked out. It was like something was sucking it out. And I couldn't really see with this eye the part that was just the part of my head, the left side of my head, that was getting sucked out. But I was looking with my other eye, like trying to look, and it looked like just it didn't look like it had a form. It just looked like some black energy was sucking me out. And then I'm thinking, holy shit, it's happening. I'm really coming out of my body. My soul's really coming out of my body. It was only halfway, but it was my first time, and I was so excited. So I snapped back in my body. I believe that probably almost happens to everybody when they get their very first real one, because they're gonna be like, oh, holy shit, it's really happening, and they're just gonna snap back in. So I was so happy. And so the second day I did my whole routine like always, and I did it again right on the second day. And this time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep calm. I'm not gonna be like, oh shit, it's really happening. So I kept calm. And I was living on a boat with my dad at the time, and I came out, and I just tried to not think of like, oh, I'm really out, just keep the focus. And I think yeah, that's right. I went out of my room, and I saw my dad sleeping, and I'm standing in front of my dad, and I'm like, Dad, like that or something. And then since we were like living like on the water, but like by the dock, and I floated through like the ceiling part of the boat, and I was just up in the air and above the water, and I was looking all the way across the water where San Francisco was, and it was dark and it was all lit up, and it's, how do I say this? not that easy to, you can't just, it's not that easy to move around even till this day. You like 11 years. But at that time I had I had a pretty good control on the second day, and I was like above the water, like trying to stay above the water and get the highest I could. And I just thought I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. This is the coolest thing ever. This is so cool. And I would just kept going up, and then I would like lose some energy and I'd come down. I would try to bring my energy back up. I'd go back up, and I would just kind of go up and down above the water. I wasn't sure if I should fall into the water out of my body at that time. And that's all that I was. The second time, which is still like 11 years ago, I think I was only out of my body for 5 minutes or less, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. And just ever since then, I was just hooked on astral projection. I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. I couldn't focus on school. I'm like, this is boring ass fucking classes, when I just did the coolest thing ever last night. This is when I was like 15 or 16. I can't remember, or 15, about to be 16. And yeah, that was my very first two. And I'll make another video about the meditations I did to learn this. I just haven't yet because it's a lot of complicated ones that are just kind of hard to explain, but I'll get a video on that. So yeah, that was my very first two.